everybody. This is Atano Circus. This will be a short stream. I only have about 15 minutes left before I have to go back for lunch, which means that this should be about perfectly spaced and sized for a YouTube video. This is going to be a YouTube video about the progress that I have made on Veil of Codex. I've worked on it for about 5 months now, and I've grown it since the last time I put it on hiatus from about 350 kilobyte size to 741 kilobyte size. Lots of updates, lots of changes, lots of bug fixes. I'm going to go over some of the prominent features you can see when you play the mod, and then if you want to see what all of the features are or what all of the bug fixes are, then when you load up the map, and I highly encourage you go play versus CPU, otherwise you will experience some difficulties, you'll be able to see it there. So without further ado, let's go ahead and show that. When you start Veil of Codex, you'll have access to one of four, plan to have one of six, characters. You'll also notice that in addition to being able to pick a bruiser, monk, black mage, or tamer, there are prospects here for a white mage and a sniper class to be put in. Lots of their functionality is in. The combat abilities are not, which is why they're gated at the current time. Got tired of having to tell people don't pick those, so there we go. You have 4 classes, 6 are very nearly implemented. Up here we also show the consumables and equipment panels, and this is where when you buy consumables they will go, and where equipment, when you buy it, it will go. Currently we have 100 gold to start off with, and the reason that we're doing that is that we want to make sure that players can access all of the things that they want to inside of the game. Let's go ahead down here to the Black Mage. He does magic and AoE. You'll spawn down here south of an inn with an overworld Black Mage or an overworld version of your character. The overworld version of your character does not fight, and he instead has, or she, has access to the ability to interact with teleport stones, the ability to talk to people, and the ability to buy things from people. But you have to be pretty close to those people to do it. Let's go ahead and start with the teleportation. In order to use teleportation, simply press Q and left click the teleport stone. It will fill up with mana. We could press Q to teleport to another stone, but notice that it says target has full life. Unfortunately, the editor doesn't properly show the error, which is that you can't go over there and interact with that yet. You have to interact with the stone and activate it, then you can make use of it. So we're going to press W to cancel the teleport, and that deposits our Overworld Black Mage back here. We're going to notice that we have a buy menu, but we're too far from Startaria, the city, in order to use it. And the same thing for the talk menu. Once you get into Startaria, as helpfully displayed by Welcome to Startaria signs, you can then access the buy menu for Startaria. There are a list of NPCs in here. So for the buy menu, we have 5 NPCs that you can visit who you can buy things from: the Affiliator, the Alchemist, the Beastmaster, the Blacksmith, and the Innkeeper. But if we go back to the talk menu, we see that you have 4 you can talk with: the Affiliator, the Scholar, the Beastmaster, and the Innkeeper. Let's go ahead and get a quick example of what buying something looks like. We're going to buy an example of an inventory item over here, a consumable. So we're at the Alchemist. If we go to the buy menu base, buy menu Startaria, buy menu Startaria Alchemist, we can buy an ether, a potion, or a regen. Let's go ahead and buy a potion. They're fairly inexpensive. Once you buy a potion, you may notice that your consumable slot, you've gone from 0 of 10 supply to 1 of 10 supply, and you have access to a potion. This potion only has one ability. Press Q to consume the potion. When you consume the potion, this priest icon will die, representing it being removed from your inventory, and we'll go ahead and regenerate some health. Let's go ahead and buy one other item just to help ourselves out here so I can show something to you later. We're going to buy an ether. An ether is represented by an entirely different unit, in this case the wolf, and when we use the wolf, it will recover for us 25 mana. Let's go ahead and back out of here. I've shown you 2 items that you can buy, one for health and one for mana. We're not going to go into all of these quite yet, but let's go over here and let's go to the buy menu. Now we're at the blacksmith. We can see because he says blacksmith. We're going to buy these boots. So boots are not consumables, they are equipment. So notice that we have a worker over here in our equipment section. He has 2 abilities, and all of the equipment will work this way going forward. The equip boots, or Q to equip, increases overworld movement speed by 1 when equipped. Only 1 boots may be equipped at a time, and unequip boots. Now notice, our character was movement speed 3, but now their movement speed is 3 plus 1. They're moving a little more quickly. We go over here to the equipment and we unequip the overworld boots. We'll be back down to a movement speed of 3. I rather like being at higher movement speed, so let's equip that, and now we're going to show you the talk function. We're going to go over here to the Beastmaster to show 2 points. Sorry, Scholar, we're not interested in talking to you right now. We're going to go over here to the Beastmaster. When we go to the talk menu base, we can go to talk menu for Startaria, the city that we're in, and we can talk to the Beastmaster. Here we're going to show a couple of things off. One, Vale of Codex has dialogue trees, following the tradition of Fallout or Vale of Codex. Following in the tradition of Fallout or Mass Effect, Vale of Codex has it such that when you talk with an NPC or interact with them, their talk, their conversation, their answer will be on the top row. Your questions will be on the bottom row. So notice here that we see in Q, and it leads nowhere, a beast is wild, cruel, and unfathomable. What you need out there is a companion. And we can ask him, what are pets? Now, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but he tells you what pets are. You can read the information, and it will tell you more about what he thinks about pets. Now, there are class specific interactions. So, we are currently a black mage. We cast magic. We don't actually use pets. So, we're going to ask the Beastmaster, what abilities do my pets know? When we do that, he says, you have none. The pacts between companions and are only known to tamers. He tilts his chin up and furrows his brow, only shared with them, too. So the game will check what your class is on some of these interactions and make it so that you can't actually interact with classes that, or you have a unique interaction based on what you are. We're going to go down here and we're going to notice that there is an innkeeper, right? The innkeeper is one of a variety of entities that we can talk to and we can buy things from. I want to show something off right first. We've put in some rudimentary animation in Vale of Codex. So let's say we want to get a night rest. It says the cost is 12 gold. It's currently only 1. A night of sleep and a hot plate. The roughly thatched ceiling and clay walls of the room leave much to be desired. Still, it is warm. The wooden shutters, old but well kept, promise some morning light. Let's go ahead and buy that. Notice that the screen goes entirely dark. We can't move to indicate that it is actually nighttime, and as it fades away with a very subtle use of auras, we can actually move again and take purpose. Cool. Now, I mentioned the teleport stone before. We couldn't interact between the two. Let's see if we can't do that now. So we're at the teleport stone. We could press W and get out of the teleport stone as before, but I think actually what we're going to do is we're going to press Q, which is Transfer Mana Tele 1. Not a very cool sounding name. For right now, Vale of Codex items share what their information is as ID strings and names. Names are what you as the player see. ID strings are what I'm manipulating in the background of the mod. I keep them the same because while we're in the testing phase of this game, that just makes life a lot easier. So let's go ahead and press Q. Notice that you saw a projectile fire all the way over, and now our overworld black mage is back over where he started, so we can investigate the second area of the game. We are about 8 minutes in, I've only got 7 minutes left, and that's perfect, because it shouldn't take us 7 minutes to go into the next area of the game, which is combat. Notice that when we hit this wolf, it'll die and our character will disappear, but the circle down here will activate. This is our combat character. If we look over here, we see that we have our ether and our potion. These affect not the overworld character, but this, our black mage hero. Let's see what some of his abilities are. Ice shard, fireball, miasma. Reading is hard. Fireball, you should just be able to I don't know, what is ice shard? So we press Q. Ice shard summons a variety of shard-like things in a snowflake pattern, hits the enemy, and the enemy has reduced speed. Okay, well that's pretty cool. Well, Fireball. Every RPG has Fireball, so let's cast Fireball and see what it does. I don't think you've ever played an RPG in Little Wargame where Fireball does that exactly. Now we've spent 10 mana and we've lost 4 health. Once combat is over, we leave and we come back over here. Let's go ahead and recover some health. So, Ether. Let's go ahead and use the Ether. That should give 25 Ether back to our Black Mage in the combat area. And consume Potion. Sure, let's consume the potion. You should be full health and mana. But there's a small problem. Where are all of the enemies? This looks like an area with enemies, but I don't exactly know how to get them to spawn again. Well, hidden inside of the areas of these circles that I am gesturing to on my screen, there is a hidden totem. When your overworld character is near that totem, they are giving it mana. By default, when that totem hits max mana, it wants to spawn a unit. Watch my hands off the keyboard. but it's not spawning anything right now. And the reason it's not spawning anything is I don't like when you can see where the spawners are. I'm okay with, even if it's a little strange, making it so that it feels like a game, making it so you don't exactly see the code acting. So there is code to put in an aura in to make sure that the enemy only spawns when you're out of range. Now that we're out of range, we re-enter combat. Let's notice that we're back up to full health and mana. Now you may think I've done this every single time. Maybe the items didn't work. So we're going to do a couple of things here. One, we're going to cast an ability, right? We're going to do some damage. Cool. Notice that we stop time every time we use an ability. For now, the player is very powerful, and this only affects the player. But don't worry, future enemies will do more than just a move at you. And when they do that, rest assured, you're going to want to really use those time stop effects in an intelligent way. So, let's go ahead and make sure that all of these enemies die. And once these enemies die, notice I've taken some health damage, and I've lost some mana. We're going to leave this area, come back into combat, and you'll see the benefit of this changed system that we have here, where we actually record all of the information from our combat character separate of what happens elsewhere. Again, keep in mind, there are 4 classes, so if you don't like the things you've seen the Black Mage do here, there are 3 other classes you can try out, and play with the combat. Find bugs if you want to, but hopefully not find bugs, and just have a good time. So this is to prove that we are keeping stock of the health and the mana. Notice that we have lost 23 hit points and 25 mana. And notice also that the combat that we're getting seems to be slightly different each time. So let's go ahead. Yeah. Notice also there are some subtle interactions that are happening in the combat, and that no matter how many times you do this, you will actually, you will complete everything. Disappear from here, come back over here. Also notice when we started doing this, we had about 64 gold, but we have gained some gold. So we can go back out into town, we can teleport into town, and now you can buy things. Now, Veil of Codex doesn't have any more areas than I have demonstrated here. It is, after all, pretty early in development. RPGs thrive when you give them more stuff, when you take some things and expand the systems out. So I am very excited to say that all but one of the NPCs are done. There's only one extra NPC for the towns planned, one regular NPC. Also notice that with the combination of the buy system and the combat system, you have a loop that you can play through several times. I have deliberately given myself 100 gold for the purposes of this, but when you play Veil of Codex, you might find you don't have quite that much gold. I hope that you find these things interesting and will follow me as I put in more work into Veil of Codex. If you have questions about any of the systems that are in here, get in the little Wargame Discord or respond since this is going on YouTube. Hi, YouTube. Go ahead and put that in the comments below, and I will answer them as best as possible. And if you have a how-to for any of the things that are in here or in the editor generally, I will go ahead and make a how-to either on Twitch as part of a long-form stream, or I will just make a quick YouTube video identifying how to do those things. I hope this was very interesting to you. Thanks again for tuning in. I gotta get back to my 9 to 5, or as I prefer to call it, my 5 to 9.